Hey guys, I'm Tiffany,
And I'm Stephanie.
and we're Sisters of the South, coming to you with another true crime story for you. Before we get started, though, we just want to remind everyone to please hit the like button at the bottom of the screen and subscribe for more true crime content every week, which is absolutely
Free.
and hit the notification bell so you know when we have more stories for you. And of course, share with all your friends if you deem worthy enough to share it. We also want to give a little shout out to our friends over at SoFly.
SoFly!
SoFly! And I'll let Stephanie tell you about them now.
SoFly is a small family-owned business here in the Houston, Texas area, and they specialize in embroidery and laser work, and they will take keychains, caps, aprons, hoodies, beanies, and they will accessorize them with embroidery. They will also do laser work. They do like patchwork. They can do the laser work on like carving boards and things like that. And they've just come a long way, and they have excellent customer service. They will take an ordinary accessory and they will make it extraordinary. So we think they'll make you very happy. Don't forget, we're in December. So if you want to order from them, please get that order in as soon as possible. We will put their information in the description box, but we know that you'll be happy with them. So please try them out. They do our merchandise for us as well. But we're going to share a little video to show you some of their work. So here we go.
All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Go check them out. They are amazing. But with all of that being said, I'm going to let Stephanie take over now.
Yeah, so we're going to talk today about the murder of the Lawson family, which actually refers to a familicide which took place on December 25th, 1929 in Germanton, North Carolina in the United States, in which sharecropper Charles Davis, or Charlie Lawson, murdered his wife and 6 of his 7 children. In 1911, Charles Lawson married Fanny Mainring, with whom he had 8 children. The third, William, born in 1914, died of an illness in 1920. In 1918, following the move of his younger brother Marion and Elijah to the Germanton area, Lawson followed suit with his family. The Lawsons worked as a tenant tobacco farmers, saving enough money by 1927 to buy their own farm on Brook Cove Road. 1929, days prior to Christmas, Lawson, age 43, took Fanny, his wife, age 37, and their 7 children, Arthur, age 19, Marie, age 17, Carrie, age 12, Maybelle, age 7, James, age 4, Raymond, age 2, and Mary Lou, age 4 months, into town to buy new clothes and to have a family portrait taken. This would have been an unusual occurrence for a working-class rural family of that era, which was led to speculations that Lawson's act was premeditated. It was speculated that he had impregnated his eldest daughter, Marie, 17. Lawson, having purchased his own farm 2 years previously, together with the fact that an Associated Press wire went out on the day after the murders characterizing Lawson as a well-to-do farmer, could make a pre-Christmas shopping spree appear reasonable.
Wait, I'm sorry. Did I hear you correctly that it is believed that he impregnated his daughter?
It's a rumor. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a rumor.
Wow.
And I think they go a little more into detail, but there is a lot of rumors that surrounds this family.
Wow.
And it's horrendous.
Yeah.
But on the afternoon of December 25th, Lawson first shot his daughters, Carrie and Maybelle, as they were setting out to their uncle and aunt's house. He waited for them by the tobacco barn until they were in range, shot them with a 12-gauge shotgun, then ensued that they were dead by bludgeoning them. He placed the bodies in the tobacco barn. Afterwards, Lawson returned to the house and shot Fanny, who was on the porch. As soon as the gun was fired, Marie, who was inside, screamed while the two small boys, James and Raymond, attempted to find a hiding place. Lawson shot Marie and then found and killed the two boys. Lastly, he killed the baby, Mary Lou. It is thought that she was bludgeoned to death. After the murders, he went into the nearby woods and several hours later shot himself. The only survivor was his eldest son, 19-year-old Arthur, whom he had sent on an errand just before committing the crime. The bodies of the family members were found with their arms crossed and rocks under their heads. The gunshot signaling Lawson's own suicide was heard by many people who already had learned of the murders on the property and gathered there. A police officer who was with Arthur ran down to discover Lawson's body along with letters to his parents. As footprints encircled the tree, it was supposed that he had been pacing around the tree prior to taking his life. There's a lot of theories to the motive, and there is a lot of people who get on Reddit and talk about these murders.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people who were related to them that still carry the story, and they're very protective of this family, and which is understood.
Oh, yeah.
And they feel like they have their own story. So what we're reading here, there's a lot of facts, but then there's quite a bit of speculation. So I don't want to disrespect anyone while telling the story, but these are just some things that people consider as motives. Months before the event, Lawson had sustained a head injury. Some family and friends theorized that it had altered his mental state and was related to the massacre. However, an autopsy and analysis of his brain at Johns Hopkins Hospital found no abnormalities. It was not until the book of White Christmas, Bloody Christmas was published in 1990 that a claim of Charlie abusing Marie surfaced, beginning with an anonymous source who heard a rumor during a tour of the Lawson home shortly after the murders. The day before the book was published, the author received a phone call from Stella Lawson, a relative who had already been interviewed for the book. Stella said that she had overheard Fanny's sister-in-law and aunts, including Stella's mother, Jetty Lawson, discussing how Fanny had confided in them that she had been concerned about an incestuous relationship between Charlie and Marie. Jetty died in early 1928, meaning Fanny had been suspicious of the incest at least that long before the murders in late 1929.
Wow.
So the speculation on this is a rumor, but due to some concerns that the wife had about the relationship between her husband and daughter. And honestly, she's living in the house and she's going to see more than anyone else. So if it's true that she shared that with close family members, that it is a huge possibility that this was going on. So more support for this theory was revealed in The Meaning of Our Tears, published by the same author in 2006. A close friend of Marie Lawson's, Ellie Mae, came forward and disclosed that a few weeks before Christmas 1929, Marie confided in her that she was pregnant by her own father and that both he and Fanny knew about this. Many thought this is what also led him to massacring his family, because he didn't want the secret to get out. Another close friend and neighbor to the Lawson family, Hill Hampton, stated that he knew of serious problems going on within the family, but declined to elaborate. Shortly after the murders, Charlie's brother, Marion Lawson, opened the home on Brook Cove Road as a tourist attraction. A cake that Marie had baked on Christmas Day was displayed on the tour. Because visitors began to pick at the raisins on the cake to take as souvenirs, it was placed in a covered glass cake server for many years. I don't understand.
No,
But people do strange things like that. They want a memorabilia.
but raisins from a cake?
And the only thing I can think is, raisins are already kind of preserved. But what do you do with it? And why? I mean,
It's not a trinket
Well, why would you want to take anything from a home that something so horrendous had
because
happened to?
people are weird.
I know. I don't understand it. I mean, maybe the tour, um, you know, maybe I can understand that. I mean, we tour things a lot, but I would never take anything from a home ever. But definitely
Not a raisin.
not a raisin or a trinket of any sort. I just don't get it. The event inspired a number of songs and other tributes, including the murder ballad, The Murder of the Lawson Family, which was originally recorded by the Carolina Buddies for Columbia Records in 1930 and covered by the Stanley Brothers in March of 1956. The Lawsons were laid to rest in a private family graveyard donated by the local Browder family. The main tombstone features the symbol of the squares and compass, suggesting that Charlie had been a Freemason. But this is not the case. He was actually a member of the Junior Order of the United American Mechanics, which uses a similar symbol. Arthur Lawson was killed in a 1945 motor accident at age 35, leaving a wife and 4 children. So the son that was, left behind um, eventually, unfortunately, was killed. It makes me think for some reason, Charlie showed Arthur some grace that day. And I've pondered that and I've wondered because he evidently knew what he was going to do. And I think he sent Arthur to town to run errands to get him away because he didn't want him part of that. I don't know if his mindset was, if I leave Arthur here, he can carry on the family name.
That's what I was wondering too.
Yeah. Or that was his favorite
But
child. It's strange. There was a thought process there. I firmly believe that because he took everyone else out.
yeah,
So it's just a really sad story.
it's heartbreaking from every angle.
It is.
I mean, they obviously had a lot going on in that house,
Mhm.
but you have to also say, okay, what could Fanny have done knowing what her husband was doing? It's back then it would have been hard for her to leave. And then is he going to get prosecuted in any way? I don't know how things worked with that back then.
Well, you got to think it's got to be proven.
Oh yeah, of
And
course.
for a woman to come forward and to say
Go
something's
against her
going on,
husband.
go against her husband, they're going to say stuff like, possibly she's mad at him. There's no DNA. They can't. It's not like they can do a DNA test to see who the baby belongs to. I mean, there's a number of things, and so I'm sure if she's talking about what she thinks is going on, she doesn't know what to do. And like you said, where is she going to go?
What is she going to do?
What is she going to do? She has a
Now,
passel of kids. She has a 4-month-old baby, the youngest one. So I can't imagine.
things could have gone a different way. She could have taken him out.
Right? Well, I don't think that it ever crossed her mind that was even a possibility. And I don't think that she thought he would do that either, but
Well, no, she's casually sitting on the porch. Who thinks their husband's just going to come out and take out the family
on Christmas.
on Christmas?
Yeah, I mean, she's been baking a cake and her son's gone to town running errands for her husband. And um, for the most part, a lot of people try to put their differences aside or whatever's going on in their life aside for Christmas, typically. And that day just became
When
an
you have to
absolute
wonder why
horror.
he chose that day. He could have given him a day.
Well, if he wasn't in his right mind, what does it
He
matter what
wasn't
day
in
it
his
is?
right mind ever.
Right. No, I agree. But that's what I'm saying. If he's
He
not in his right
impregnated
mind.
his daughter. So
Yeah.
he's not in
Yeah,
his right mind anyway.
exactly. And unfortunately, as time goes on, we are more and more aware, and it's brought to our attention that a lot of this stuff went on back then. And it's sad, but there really wasn't a lot that was done when those things occurred in families. And it caused a lot of havoc and a lot of chaos in people's lives. And it was handed down from generation to generation. And, if she was pregnant with her father's child, and she shared that, supposedly she shared that information. How was she feeling?
Oh, yeah.
You know? So it's just a lot to ponder. I think it's a super sad story. And, and then Arthur dies in a motorcycle accident in 1945. So
Very young.
very young. So that whole family was basically wiped out.
Imagine what he had to live through, with his whole family.
That's a lot of trauma. Yeah, his
That's
whole
amazing.
family. He comes back from town. He leaves and everybody's there, and then he comes back from town and the whole family's gone.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Poor guy.
so I don't know. Have y'all heard about the story? And if you've heard of the story, if you know of the family, if you're in the family,
Leave a comment. We love listening to all of your ideas and
yeah, and
thoughts.
facts, because there
Oh, yeah.
again, there's a lot of things that float around this story, but ultimately, I think the reason why people talk about it so much is because there's such mystery and a
Mhm.
lot of things left open,
Yeah.
that people want closure to, but there's no way to get that. So, until our next episode, guys, see the good,
And stay
stay
imperfectly
imperfectly perfect.
perfect. Bye, guys.
Thank you. Merry Christmas.